Hi, this is your host, Danielle Snow, and you are now listening to my podcast, Dear Anybody, where we talk about life and lessons learned. The topic we'll be discussing today is the things I wish I knew about friendship. Making genuine connections is something I always longed for and struggled with. So today I'll be sharing 3 things that would have lifted a burden off my shoulder and given me more insight as a young girl and young adult trying to operate friendship. The first thing is understanding that most friendships are seasonal. Growing up, it was really hard letting go of friendships, especially the ones I thought I'd have forever. And if we're being honest, friendship breakups are the worst kind of breakups. But I realized something. A butterfly has a season of being a caterpillar and a season of being in a cocoon. Now, what would happen if the butterfly was too scared to enter into this next season? Too scared to enter into the cocoon? It would never become a butterfly. It would never become the beautiful thing that we see today. And the thing is, neither of those seasons are bad. But if you spend too long in a place that you've outgrown, it'll do more harm than good. Understanding this, and understanding that most friendships are seasonal, has allowed me to enjoy the moment. It's allowed me to be present. It's given me the ability to remember the good times without longing for them. And honestly, letting go has become easier. I've accepted the fact that God knows who needs to be in my life, why, and for how long. I'm not telling you to walk away from a friendship the minute things get hard, or that you shouldn't forgive them after a fight because our season has ended. But what I am saying is that if I knew this, it would have saved me heartache, heartbreak, and stress. Being able to let go, that's your power. Because truthfully, if someone wants to be in your life, they will be. There was a season where I really needed people. I needed a change of scenery. I needed people in my life. So God delivered. I met them on the train and they were exactly what I needed in that season. It was everything I needed and more. And we're not friends today. We no longer talk. But it's not because of any bad falling out. It's just because the season is over. That season has ended. The reason I entered their life and they entered mine is done. And that's okay. Because I can look back at those moments and smile. I can look back at those moments and share stories. I can cherish the moments, but recognize that it was good, and now it's over, and that's okay. The second thing is you need to love yourself first. In order to be a good friend to others, you need to be a good friend to yourself. The Bible says in Mark 12:31, love your neighbor as yourself. But do you believe you can love someone else if you don't love yourself? Let me know, because I don't. I believe how we feel about ourselves is often how we treat other people. Even if you don't realize it. Obviously there's the exception, but people tend to project. You can't be a good friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, parent, anything until you're good to yourself first. I'm a true believer of like attracts like. So I think that in order to attract a good friend, you need to be one. If you're not even a good friend to yourself, you won't be any good to anyone else. I'm a perfectionist, and I'm very hard on myself. So in return, I'm often hard on other people. Sometimes I might say something or think something, and it's like, Danielle, give them a break. But how can I give them a break if I don't even give myself one? I can't. So it's hard, but I've been trying to extend myself grace. And I've realized that the more grace I extend to myself, the easier it's become to extend it to other people. What's one thing you're going to do better for yourself today? Let me know. And last but not least, the most important thing I've realized about friendships is that it's quality over quantity. Now, I've never had a ton of friends, and for the longest time, I felt really bad about that. I would constantly compare myself and my ability to form friendships to what I saw in movies, TV, and other people. Specifically those movies and shows that center around female friendships, or the programs where they have the cliques, the squad, and the big groups. I didn't really feel like I had that or I belonged to anything like that, and honestly, it made me sad. I always felt like a bit of an outsider growing up, which is where I believe this feeling stems from. But what this did was position me mentally in a place where I was always longing for more instead of appreciating what I had and who was in my life. As I got older, it was still something I struggled with. I would constantly compare myself to people who seemed to have a bunch of friends and think, why don't I have that? Then something dawned on me. I am not them, and they are not me. So what works for them will not work for me. I'm an introvert. I prefer one-on-one interactions, and I don't care for big groups because I find them draining. Now, why am I telling you this? Why should you care? Because I spent a huge portion of my life longing for something that didn't belong to me. Now, maybe you're an extrovert, or maybe you can't relate to this exactly, but I think we've all been in the position where we felt like we needed something that was perceived as more or better because someone else had it. But the point is, I never stopped to ask myself if it's what I really want. I saw someone else with it, and since I didn't have it, I convinced myself that there was something wrong with me. I let comparison steal my joy for years. As I got older, I realized it wasn't a big group of friends I wanted. It was genuine and intentional connections. Because as cliche as it may sound, it's not about quality, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. Because you can be in a group full of people and still feel all alone. What's it worth having a huge group of friends if none of them show up when you need them? Now, don't make the mistake that I made and compare your life to other people. Understand that it doesn't matter if you're the most popular, if you have the most Instagram followers, or if you have a big group of friends. If you can't rely on any of them, or if you still feel alone. The richest people are the people who have people in their life that genuinely care, that they can lean on and rely on. Even if that's 2, and even if that's 1, count yourself blessed. Remember, it's not about numbers, because more doesn't equal better. Don't let this world fool you. And more certainly doesn't equal genuine connections. When you focus on quality instead of quantity, you attract those same like-minded people. And if you feel like you have no one in your corner, if you're thinking, Danielle, this sounds great, but I don't even have one, I felt like that for years. But the one that's always been in my corner, that one friend that I could always lean on, always relied on, wasn't seasonal, loved me regardless of my nonsense, was the Lord. And when we lean into that, when we lean into the fact that the Lord is our friend, the Lord loves us, when we lean into that, when we take the time to get to know ourselves, you'll realize that everything has a season. And sometimes your season may be friendlessness. But I believe that all seasons have a reason. So I want to encourage you to figure out what season of your life are you in. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. Second of all, and this is my favorite part, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can literally be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Honestly, it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. You can download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to start your podcast today. Understanding what season you're in is key to applying everything that was discussed, because it all boils down to intentional growth. I think looking at it as a whole can be a little overwhelming, but if you just take it bit by bit, maybe get a notebook and write a letter to yourself. Dear, fill in the blank, this is how I feel about what I listened to, and go from there. It works. I promise. I did it. I'm definitely in this season of falling in love with myself all over again. And it's been crazy, beautiful, scary, emotional, exciting. It's been a roller coaster. But I've decided I want to be intentional about being a better friend to myself. So in return, I can be a better friend to you. Did any of these 3 points resonate with you? Let me know. Thank you so much for listening, but the conversation doesn't have to end here. Talk to me. I'm on Twitter and on Instagram. You can find me at Dear Anybody Pod. If you would like to support this podcast, you can go to anchor.fm/DearAnybodyPod/support. Don't forget to subscribe and share with a friend. And remember, you can expect new episodes the last Sunday of each month. I love you guys. Bye.